I haven't pulled the ADA MP-1 out for a while, so I believe it's time for a little video with it. The last video that I did, which was a few months ago, a bunch of people were asking me about the settings that I'm using, so I'll go over that. Again, it's very dependent on the power amp that you're using, the cabinet that you're using, and how you're miking it and post-processing it. At the moment, I'm using the effects return of this DSL50, so EL34 based Marshall style power amp. And it's going into V30s, and I'm miking it with an SM57, and in Pro Tools all I am doing is putting a little bit of high pass at about 80 Hertz and low pass at about 10K. This is a Hamer Chaparral, and yeah, I'm just going straight to the front. So the settings at the moment: Overdrive 1, 2, Overdrive 2, 6.5, bass, mid, treble, presence, all flat, and we're just going to dial that in a little bit. If you've ever played one of these preamps and set it flat, it is pretty lame. Have a listen. So not very inspiring if you're used to the kind of Nuno, Skid Row, Paul Gilbert kind of thing. You want to do this. The trick is to pull out some mid-range and to put the presence back in. So let's dip the mids down to about -8, and we'll take the presence to 8. Again, this isn't one of these things. I mean, this goes up in increments of 2 and 4, not in 2 and 4. I think it's like, what does the mid-range do? Mids go -8, -10, -12, so it's all in 2s. Where are we? -8, and then presence at +8. At the moment, that sounds like this. So you can hear there, it kind of adds that like high-end thrack and scoops out a bit of the mid-range. It's really thin in the lows though, so we'll add some bass back in. I'll take the bass to 4, and I'm going to push Overdrive 1 a little bit more as well. Let's take that, say, to about 4. I find that Overdrive 1 basically helps you balance out your guitar pickups, and then Overdrive 2 is going to be your main kind of tube stage of distortion. Let's have a listen to this now. And that is pretty rad. I might bring Overdrive 1 down just a little bit more. Let's maybe try to balance it out at 3, and this should be a little bit more appropriate, I guess, for the extreme porno graffiti kind of tone. That's pretty happening, I think. And again, you know, the main factor in that tone is Nuno Betancourt, so I can't play like him, and most of you guys probably can't play like him either, so don't be too discouraged if you can't get that happening straight away. Overdrive 2 you can play around with a little bit. So if you bring it down, say to about 4, then you definitely get more of that kind of classic rock, hot-rodded Marshall sort of thing. It's not as saturated. And you can also push the treble a little bit if you want more of those harmonics. I suck and I'm not pulling any harmonics out of this today, so I might try it with my STR. So that's with a kind of super strat sort of guitar, but when you use it, I guess, with like more of a Les Paul kind of thing, you definitely get a chunkier 90s kind of thing happening. Which is sort of almost, I don't want to say recto-ish, but it's got that sort of super saturated modern Marshall thing, more like a Soldano SLO or something like that. So that's the 80A MP-1 kind of dialed in. If you've got one of these things, like I said, try those settings. I find that pulling the mids out and cranking the presence really, really helps. You can push the presence even further, so you take it to 10 or 12, you get which is basically Metallica, and you can pull the mids out even further if you want more of that kind of super thrash thing, mids at -12. It's got this wonderful kind of squishiness to it that I think is really musical, and it's great for lead guitar, which is why so many people like it. That's better with the harmonics. Alright, that's the 80A MP-1. Thanks for tuning in. As always, hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys around.